And let's take one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart and bring ourselves into our bodies a little bit more, just noticing your breath. And perhaps you want to close your eyes if that feels good and safe for you to do. And take a moment here to just notice your breath. That prana that rides in on the breath, coming in and moving out, and reminding yourself that this is a fundamental primal connection that you have with Grandmother Earth. You invite her atmosphere into your body. And as you exhale, you feed everything on her surface that is green. And so just feeling that cyclical nature of the breath and how it connects you to Earth. And allow your rootedness, maybe they're tiny, thin, grass-like roots or reed-like roots, or maybe they're deep roots, tree roots, allowing those to drop down from your seat into the ground, wiggling your toes, feeling your feet on the earth. Allowing yourself to be completely present to yourself in this moment. And then we're just going to take a little walk together in our mind's eye. Finding ourselves in the forest. And you can choose any forest you like to be in, a forest that you've seen in a film, one that you've read about in a book, one you've been in recently, one from your childhood, your favorite forest of all time, a forest of your imagination. This is your space. And because it's late in the calendar year, it's dark. And because it's new moon, there's no visible moon up ahead, but you know she's there, doing her dance, calling to you gently, sweetly, and reflecting all of these celestial energies and frequencies back to you. And as we step a little bit further into the forest, we come to a clearing, and we can see that it's a clearing because there's a fire, there's a bonfire. There's a bonfire that's been set for us, for you specifically. It's your bonfire. And maybe it's small and maybe it's really big. Whatever it is for you, just start stepping your way toward it. And already you can start to feel the warmth that the spirit of fire is imparting to the air around it. And you can see, as with all fires, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of movement. And yet you notice all around you in this forest clearing is quiet. And this sense of deep peace starts to enter your bones. And you notice that the temperature, though it's late in the calendar year and it's night, the temperature is quite pleasant. And there's very little breeze, no movement of the evergreens. And you find a log or a rock or some moss to sit on. There's no snow quite yet. And you sit comfortably and maybe even lie down. There are stars above you, and the fire is crackling gently. And you take a few moments to breathe in the stillness and the peace of this moment with just you and the spirit of fire, your fire in this forest clearing. There's the smell of the fire smoke and the sound of the crackle as the wood breaks down. The feel of the warmth, the peacefulness of this clearing. And when you're ready, you look into the fire. You look into the fire and you look into the flame. And watch the dancing flames. And wait to see if any images or sensations or messages appear for you. And maybe there is, and maybe there isn't. But you're patient and you allow. You allow the dancing and the movement to remind you of the fire within you. And to remind you of the sun that will rise again in the morning. That is the fire in the sky that this earth enjoys. And as you look up into that sky now, you're reminded that every star you see is also a point of fire in the sky. And you feel how all fire is connected and that you are part of that circle of fire. How the spirit of fire lives within you in the same way that it lives in a lively, dancing way right in front of you. And you look at those flames and you feel the connection. And then you notice how the shadows are created from the fire, the shifting shadows to the left and to the right and beyond. And sometimes they look like animals, and sometimes maybe like dancing people, or fairies, or wood sprites, or nymphs. Or maybe they just look like shadows. Whatever you see, whatever you perceive, just allow it. You don't need to force it, just receive what's there for you. Noticing the shifting shadows. And then you notice that this fire is particularly lively. And on occasion, a little pop will happen and some sparks will fly. And you feel perfectly safe. Nothing's particularly aggressive or coming toward you. There's still that deep sense of peace, quiet, and stillness. But occasionally, this lively spark will go out of bounds from the fire, the circle of the fire, and you watch it dancing, leaping. And perhaps that brings a particular thought or feeling or sensation or memory or awareness. And maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't. And you just allow that, whatever it is. And just smile to yourself in your oneness with your experience of this fire that is so fully alive in this space. And of course, you smell it before you see it because it's dark, but you do notice that there's some smoke, not very much, just a little. But sometimes parts of the fire have little magical, kind of genie-like, billowing areas of smoke that will create themselves and then disappear. And you're watching to see And one or two appear and you notice. Maybe they remind you of something or someone or a situation. And you're allowing yourself to receive whatever the pieces are that are here for you in this moment. And you look to the embers that are being created. And perhaps images appear, images of creatures not from this planet, images of animals you recognize or don't, images of stories of the past or perhaps of the future. And you're just watching, you're just observing, you're receiving. You feel the heat on your face, on your skin of your arms. The dancing light of the flames, the sparks, the smell of the smoke, and the images in the burning embers. And then it occurs to you that this fire is not a natural phenomenon. There is, of course, a fire tender. You haven't seen them yet, but you know they must be around nearby because no one, of course, would create a fire in the forest without tending it. And so you wait until the fire tender appears and allow yourself to be pleasantly surprised by what they look like. Maybe they're human and maybe they're not. Maybe they're tall or maybe they're very small. They might have wings or other parts to them that are a little bit different than you. Maybe they don't have a physical body at all. And so when that fire tender arrives, if it's right for you, invite them to come and be by you. And if you have a question, and it can be just a silent question in your mind or one that you've been mulling over for a while, or maybe something that just pops up for you in this moment, go ahead and ask that question. Or maybe just an open-ended, what do I need to know in this moment? So open yourself to receive any message or messages that that fire tender has for you. And maybe the message will come in the form of a single word that you hear clear as a bell. And maybe that message will come as a sensation in a part of your body, or maybe throughout your body. And maybe that message will come in the form of a visual, just one picture or a color or a texture. Or maybe a whole little vignette, like a little movie in your mind, in your mind's eye. However that message appears, maybe just a feeling of love that's exchanged. Again, just receive it. Just be present to it. Just allow it. Feel the joy of being here in your clearing, in your forest, in your personal space, in the quiet and the silence with this beautiful fire and this loving fire tender. And as you feel the connection of the fire within you to this fire and the fires in the sky, connect with that sense of gratitude and appreciation that is so easy to reach for when we are in this place of deep interconnection. Thank your fire tender maybe with a deep, energetic bow. Thank the spirit of fire for its willingness to be present. Thank the air that helped bring the oxygen so that we could have this fire and make the smoke and burn the wood, and thank the wood that was once a tree that gave its life so that this fire could exist for us and create warmth and light and beauty and bring wisdom. And just have a deep appreciation for the beauty of this clearing and of this forest, which is itself dancing in delight with this experience. And when your gratitude feels like it's been expressed completely, allow yourself to begin to step away from this space. And very gently and slowly return back. And from this place of deep interconnection and knowingness, we will set our intention and sit for 3 minutes with it. My intention is that I am co-creating a world that values, uplifts, and inspires what I uniquely offer within it. And welcome back from that beautiful intention setting. You may want to take some time now to journal for yourself and just notice, observe what it is that each aspect of the journey brought forward for you, any messages, any feelings, any awarenesses that have come up. And when you feel complete, just giving yourself some space and some time to allow the feelings to settle in and perhaps the intention to settle in, and making that intention your own if you wish. It is always presented in the first person so that you can really feel into it in terms of what it brings for you at this time. And so we'll be signing off for this particular new moon in this particular calendar year, letting 2023 come to a gentle close before we jump into the intense energies of 2024. Watch your email for your early bird announcement for Visioning 2024, co-create your future forward. And we hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye now.